It is my pleasure today to welcome Mr. Anthony Mann to this program. From 1942 to 1968, Mann directed up to 40 feature films in Hollywood, though his last couple of films were British productions. Anthony Mann directed both iconic westerns and film noirs, crafting some truly paramount works of these genres. I tend to think of Mann as my favourite director of an American Western, not because I don't love Mr. John Ford, but because of that magnificent James Stewart quadrilogy of westerns he helmed. Perhaps my favourite of the four, and possibly my favourite of Mann's films, and a candidate for my favourite American Western overall, is 1954's The Far Country. The Far Country is one of the few westerns to have been set in Alaska. Filming took place in Alberta, Canada, and a cinematography courtesy of William H. Daniels, who is best known for photographing Foolish Wives and Greed for Stroheim way back in the silent era, and also for the Jules Dassin pictures Brute Force and The Naked City. The cinematography is absolutely spellbinding. This is a Technicolor classic, so vivid and juicy to look at. You just lie back and let it all sink through. Anyway, the synopsis entails James Stewart's Jeff Webster, a gifted cattle driver, and Walter Brennan's Ben Tatum, seeking to drive a herd of cattle to Dawson City, Yukon, after hearing of the Klondike Gold Rush. Webster is employed by saloon owner Rhonda Castle, portrayed wonderfully by Ruth Roman, to assist her in carrying her supplies over to Yukon. Upon arrival in the town of Skagway, Webster runs afoul of the corrupt Judge Gannon, portrayed by John McIntyre, who confiscates Webster's cattle after their stampeding arrival disrupts a hanging execution. Webster and Ben steal back the cattle and make their way out with Rhonda's caravan, warding off the pursuing Judge Gannon and his henchmen. Gannon swears to hang the wily Webster. In Dawson, Webster finds a town beset by lawlessness and apathy. He winds up selling his cattle herd to Rhonda for an incredibly large sum, and then he and Ben make even more money after buying an existing gold claim. Things seem to be going well for everyone. Now, unfortunately, Judge Gannon is a business associate of Rhonda Castle, and so eventually he arrives in Dawson to assist in managing the saloon. Gannon sets to cheating the local miners out of their gold claims, and the wary Webster chooses to stay out of it. He's in enough trouble with Gannon as it is. Webster believes if he ignores the corruption and injustice, he will be safe from it. But alas, Gannon is a wicked man. This is one of the most comfortable American westerns of all time, in my opinion. Obviously, I love this film's photography, but narratively I find it quite strong as well. It is a good piece of character development for Jeff Webster, and James Stewart delivers a strong show. As I said earlier, the other major performers, Brennan, Roman, and McIntyre, are all stellar. The music in this film is also just tremendous, and is apparently courtesy of one of, or all of, according to the Library of Congress entry for this film, Henry Mancini, Hans J. Salter, Frank Skinner, and or Herman Stein, who are all seemingly uncredited. But yes, the scope of this production, the vast wilderness, the charismatic players, the robust score, and vibrant colouring, makes for an extraordinary odyssey indeed. The Western genre almost always operates within parameters, a select set of conventions, and this picture performs majestically within those. All of the facets of this production are just outstanding. I cannot immediately, to be perfectly honest, think of a John Ford Western which I consider superior with certainty. The Searchers contains some tonally garish comedy, Wagon Master can be uninteresting when not engaged in montage, Stagecoach comes close, but it doesn't have quite the Far Country's scope, and My Darling Clementine is extremely slick, but mostly straightforward. Then there's fare such as Liberty Valance, which, with its message so frank, obnoxious, and overbearing, and its direction so horizontal, why is the actual revealed shooting of Liberty Valance one of the most whimpered, uncinematic, and flat in American westerns? Surely one of the most uninspired climactic moments in acclaimed cinema history. But yes, The Far Country ticks all of my boxes, and I find it close to being the most satisfying American western for myself. The only other close competitor to my mind would be one of the other Mann/Stewart collaborations, 1953's The Naked Spur in particular. So, this film is highly recommended. Western fans will surely just love it. And to those unfamiliar with the genre, this is a great place to begin. It can be safely said, perhaps, that if one does not enjoy this film, they might be hard-pressed to enjoy any other westerns. And so please do consider exploring The Far Country. It has my sincerest and earnest of recommendations. Thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful time.